Hey everyone, and welcome back. So, tonight is going to be, once again, a little bit of a special stream. Why? Because we're not playing any games, we're actually building some Lego. Not real Lego though, fake Lego. And fake Lego more specifically that I ordered from TEMU. Now, Topaz wants to come and build some Lego as well. Now, I might have to kick her out very soon because building Lego with a cat jumping all over your desk isn't always the best plan. And she doesn't seem to be getting the message. But as soon as we get started, I'll have her leave the room. But we'll play with her a little bit before then. Give a few minutes for people to come in. So honestly, I've been really wondering about these, knockoff Lego kits for a while. And when I came across the Master Sword kit here, I was so intrigued that I'm like, I have to buy it and I have to build it. I actually have another kit, but I'm going to keep that as a surprise for another time. Topaz is being extremely naughty right now. But, okay, give me a sec because she's trying to knock over the microphone now. I'm not using my standard mic, as you can see. I'm using it's my old standard mic. Oh my God. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Okay. But yeah, so eventually, yeah, cat, exactly. Cat attack. Don't worry. Like I just said, in case you just got here, when we start building, I'm gonna kick her out of the room here so that she doesn't destroy us halfway. But as I was trying to say, is basically, I've been wondering for a while if these fake Lego kits were worth anything. And when I came across this Master Sword kit, it looked, at least at first glance, so nice that I'm like, I have to have it. So I decided to buy it. I also bought another kit that we're going to keep for another time. However, very interesting as well. Zelda themed as well. But I thought we'd build it together tonight. Take a look at what the quality looks like for these kits. And basically, I'm most likely going to re-edit this into a video after. But rather than just sit here and build it on my own and then film the video later, why not stream it with all of you since I'm here anyway, just sitting for probably, I'd say maybe an hour and a half. It's a 300-piece kit, 370 pieces. In my opinion, that's maybe an hour to an hour and a half for me to build it. Now, I'm being positive because unless we start having problems with the Legos coming together or something because of the kit. But basically, first of all, I just want to talk really quickly about the packaging. Because when you get it, you basically got the regular plastic bags when you get something from like AliExpress or whatnot, the regular shipping plastic bags. Well, basically you get that, and when you open it up, this is what it looks like. It's basically, you've got a manual, one free bigger board, and you've got a huge sack with what I hope is all the pieces we need to build our Master Sword with our pedestal. Now, theoretically, it should be looking like that. Now, by the way, I know that the thumbnail for the stream tonight is completely awful. I threw it together really quickly. I'm going to make a much nicer thumbnail once our Master Sword is actually built. So I'm going to use our real Master Sword sort of as the focus, as the real one. Now, by the way, I'm putting my camera very small tonight in the top corner because since I want to re-edit this into a video, I want to be able to frame it so that I can get my face out of the stream and just sort of focus on the build. So that's why I can't make my face any bigger than it is. But we're going to get started in a few minutes here. It's pretty funny because I just put together actually the Lego Mario starter set. I'd had it for months now and I just didn't put it together because I knew it was going to take a lot of room and I didn't have room. But put it together yesterday. It's actually pretty fun. It's pretty interesting product. Let's just put it that way. But either way, so hopefully some of you are going to come in here tonight. We're going to be able to hang out, chat while I'm putting these Legos together. And you're going to see this Master Sword come together all at once. and it'll give you a good idea. If you ever see any interesting Legos on TEMU, maybe you can pick them up, because honestly, they're generally way cheaper than real Lego kits. And at least from what I've heard so far, and from what I feel so far from the kits, like if you put them side by side, you can tell they aren't real Legos, like because mainly they don't have the logos on each one of the little pegs. But nonetheless, quality wise, if I'm like feeling the part, it feels much better quality than I thought it was going to be at first. So let me just kick Topaz out. It's going to take like 30 seconds. I'm going to put her upstairs with some snacks. I'll come right back down and we'll get started on our Master Sword. Hey, Topaz. Okay, I'm back. It's also way hotter than I thought it would be down here, so I lost a hoodie. So first of all, let's just take a quick look at the instructions. Obviously, I'm going to be focusing more on the building process, but let's just start with an overview of the instructions, just in case any of you build Legos. So first, we've got a small sticker sheet here. Good to know it's only 3 stickers, so not that disappointed. I would have preferred no stickers, but even some Lego kits now, like real Lego kits, are using stickers. Like I built postcard sets, and the postcard sets for like the cities and the countries, and those all had stickers in them, which was, I felt a little weird, but anyway. So part 1 is going to be the base, apparently. Part 2 is actually going to be the sword. And you know what? So far, the instructions look pretty close to what you would expect from a real Lego kit. They maybe go a little bit quicker here. Like Lego often breaks down things into a lot of different steps. But to be honest, sometimes those extra steps aren't really needed. Once you get used to it, you sort of blend them together all at once as well. But honestly, overall, the instruction booklet looks clear, looks well made. I am, once again, a little bit surprised by the quality. I was expecting really crappy instructions, but no. I think anyone can follow along one of these, as long as you can follow along for a standard Lego. Okie doke. So let's get started. Now I'm going to put the booklet off screen, just because that's not the interesting part for most of you. The interesting part is going to be the actual building. So we are going to need the big one to start. Let's open up the huge sack. They actually give us a separator. Lego charges a ton for these. So once again, a little bit surprised, but you actually get a block separator. Now, the bags are numbered as well. Once again, a little bit surprised. I was really expecting it to maybe all come in like one huge like pile. And you had to take it, like figure out the parts yourself. But nope. Now the only thing is there's 1-1. However, in the instructions, it just says to open 1. I just want to see if there's like open 2 or something later on. Just to know if I open up the small, like all the bags with a 1-something. I feel like that's going to be the move here. I feel like all the bags that have 1-something is going to be like open it right away. And then the bags that are like 2-something are going to be later. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay. So we're going to open up all the bags with a 1 on it. 1-1. I'm super surprised that the Master Sword is that small. I think this set is going to end up being smaller than what I thought it was going to be, though. That is maybe going to be a reality here by the end. We're probably going to realize that maybe this set is smaller than I thought it was. Okay, so let's get things nice and neat. So we have 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 4. Let's open up the one which is the bigger pieces. A shit ton of big pieces. Okay. Now we're gonna move those off to the side to keep the camera clear. Now, Lego would have most likely probably done like five different bags with like step 1, step 2, step 3. But we're not going to complain too much because, by the way, just for reference sake, like the whole kit with the Master Sword was about 20 bucks. If I had to guess for an official Lego set, this would probably go in for 50 or more easily, in my opinion. Like if they were doing like a Master Sword type set. I'm going to put these here first because I just don't want them flying off the table. We're going to clean off the build surface. But honestly, it's going to be pretty busy because, like I said, way more bags opening at once. Generally, the build surface isn't this busy, but what you going to do? 1, 2, and 1, 4 is going to be the smallest parts. I'm going to put these right here on the side. They're not going to take too much real estate visually, so we can leave them there. There's a little green flower stuck there. Okay, so I'm thinking we're pretty set to get started. So first of all, we need one of these. We need a longer one here, and we need this one to bridge them. Now, basically, it's bridging 2 off, one like this. So this is most likely going to be our base to get started. There we go. Next step. It's actually pretty fun. They color code the steps. So whatever was in the previous step goes white, and the only colored pieces are the newer steps. That's actually a little bit different than Lego. So I'm not sure if it's going to make it actually easier or harder, because sometimes I like to reference to make sure that I'm using the right colored parts, but we will see as we go. So we need 2 3s. I have 1 3 here, so a second one shouldn't be too far. 2 2s. Now, this is the problem with so many different bags. I'm getting a feel for where everything is. Not 1 2, not 2 2s. 2. Those are 6s. 6s are most likely going to be off here to the left. And 1 double 6. Which I feel is going to be here. Okay. So we've got a 2 back here like this, followed by a 6 coming to the front, followed by a 3 at the back here. So it's already not exactly an even build on both sides. So it's most likely going to be an interesting one. And I made a mistake. It's 3 3s that I need. And then 2 3s here. And it's 2 double 6s. And then basically we'll be bridging this here like so. Got our 3 here. Okay. Next, we need a long, that's like a 12, I think, a 10 or a 12. Wait, that's what we need. We're going to need 6 golden handles, 3, 6, and we need 2 right angles. Okay, so theoretically, this is supposed to start like, we're supposed to have 2 gold ones, like so. Then we're supposed to have a right angle come in like that. 2 more gold ones in the middle. The other right angle here off to the side. And we finish it up with 2 golds to match on the other side. And that seems to be coming down here and locking all in place. Looking pretty good so far. By the way, guys, if you want to chat, if you want to talk tonight, if you have questions, go ahead in the chat. I'm going to try and read it from time to time. Obviously, I'm going to, when I'm in the middle of a step, I'll need to be focusing on the step itself. But in between, if you have questions, anything, go right ahead. Because like I said, it's going to be most likely a pretty laid back stream tonight. I know we don't normally do this type of stuff all the time on the channel, but I do enjoy from time to time doing something a little different. And I have a video to edit a little bit later, a review. And it's been a little bit mean to a game, so I actually wanted to do something different before I had to edit that. It's already recorded, so the mean parts are said. But I'm unfortunately didn't enjoy the game too much and needed a sort of palate cleanser before I put out the review. I don't necessarily feel bad, but as a reviewer, sometimes there are, it's not my favorite thing tearing down a game, especially because I feel it's a game that the developer actually put effort into. So it's not like a easy cash grab that the developer doesn't care about. Like those, I have no problem tearing down very gladly. But this just seems like it's the developer's first game. I say that in the review as well, so to put it into context. But unfortunately, there's a few things they need to fix about it. So, but still, so I feel a little bit worse than usual because I was hoping to enjoy the game and give the developer props on their first game, but it turned out to be a little bit lackluster. Let's just put it that way. Not awful, not broken, just frustrating at points. Hey, Frenchy Mom, how you doing? Welcome to the stream tonight. As I said, it's going to be a pretty laid back one. We are building ourselves a fake Lego Master Sword. Now, I've got to say, quality-wise, putting these parts together, if I didn't know they weren't real Lego, and like I said, there wasn't the missing symbol on all the pegs, you could believe this is Lego. Like, honestly, quality-wise, like, obviously the color on the gold ones are a little off. Like, that's not quite the exact gold that Lego uses. And, if you're used to these things, you'll be able to tell those things. But if we're talking about the quality of the set, very, very hard to distinguish off of just the quality of the build of the blocks. I'm actually, for the moment, very pleasantly surprised. And there's other kits that I've been looking at, and this was like my test run kit. You know what I mean? This and the other ones, I was... No, it's not Prince of Persia. I loved Prince of Persia. I love Prince of Persia. I am almost done. I think I'm on the last leg of the game, but once again, been torn away with other stuff because I have some timed projects coming up that I have to have done in a set time, and I just built this on the wrong side. TEMU, your instructions could be clearer. Well, honestly, I missed the rotate symbol. I'm used to the Legos rotate symbol being like a little more in your face, but that is my fault. But yeah, instruction wise as well, like other than this little tiny mishap, very clear. Like you can tell what's happening. But yeah, no. So don't worry. Prince of Persia, to me, amazing. I think it's a great direction for the series. Unfortunately, I don't think it's meeting the sales quotas that they had set for it. So Ubisoft sort of is very unforgiving for that type of stuff. So if the game doesn't really sell well really quick, I'm scared we're not going to get another one. However, I do think budget-wise, that was a very low investment for them if we compare it to like other game, like the the average game. Like I'm sure Mario and Rabbids was a much higher budget game, even though it was most likely split with Nintendo. So at the same time, maybe their expectations are so much lower that it doesn't mean it. And critically, the game is very successful. Like critically, I think they're going to consider it a success. But Ubisoft cares more about sales than critics, like because they're running a business. It's that's just the way it is. So I said it when Prince of Persia came out. I said if you want to support great 2D single player campaign games, you need to buy Prince of Persia. Like we need to put our money where our mouth is. A lot of people ask for these games, and I'm not saying make yourself broke. Like if you don't have money at all, don't spend money you don't have. But if you do have the money and you want to see more games like these, please support it. Because if not, the next game is not going to be like this. And I'm not saying that with a happy heart in any way, because I am really hoping our next game is like this. So hold on. Now you see this is something, however, Lego would not do. They're combining two steps, one above the other in one. And I had to read the instructions there properly there for a sec. But yeah, no, it's a really good game. The one maybe comeback so far that I have about it is, although I do enjoy the combat as a whole, when you get towards the end of the game, the combat becomes much too focused on counterattacking. And I'm not saying that it's not a nice mechanic that should exist in the game. I have no problem with counterattacking. But every single enemy towards the end of the game is all based around counterattacks. And you spend half your time staring down enemies, waiting for them to attack you, so that you can counterattack them and deal damage to them. Unless you have like a super move like charged up or something like that, you're stuck doing that. And I just find it breaks the flow of combat a bit towards the end of the game. Where in the early game, some enemies were dodge focused while others were not necessarily dodge focused. They all had dodge mechanics, but you could still damage them without waiting for them to attack you. While towards the end of the game, like almost every enemy cannot be attacked unless you dodge, like unless you counterattack him first. Or I'm going to say can't be attacked effectively, because no, there are ways to attack a few of them that I found, but like it's exhausting. And it's the one thing I would maybe say combat wise so far that I'm like, they didn't need to push the counter attack mechanic that hard. Like it was already a great mechanic that people were gonna abuse and use. Like you didn't need to push it to the point where every enemy towards the end of the game needs to be counterattacked for every one of their attacks. Berserk Boy, yeah, it's coming out on March 6th. And, maybe I'm not supposed to say it, but there's a good chance I'm getting a review code ahead of time. Now, it's going to most likely be embargoed, meaning that I won't be able to talk to you guys directly about the game till that date is up. But what it does mean is that we most likely are going to be able to either get a review day one or stream day one when it releases. Well, most likely, even if I review it, unless something else big comes out at the same time, we're most likely going to do both. Like, I'm going to have a review ready and we are going to play it because I'm super excited for that game. I have very, very high hopes of it. There's a demo available on Steam, by the way. And someone said in the comments, I already knew that there was a demo on Steam, which is why I'm so high on the game, because I played the demo. But, you know, since we're a Switch focused channel, I want to make sure it runs well on the Switch before I start telling people, yeah, it's a great game. Definitely pick it up. So we have to rotate this again. But yeah, so it's like, if the game runs well and the totality of the game keeps up with the demo that's available on Steam, we are most likely looking at an excellent game. So I have like I said, I have very high hopes for that one. And, it's maybe not going to be everyone's cup of tea because some people are tired of retro action platformers and blah, blah, blah. But good ones that feel original, I have no problem with. Even me, I'm getting a little bit of fatigue for like the retro style cheapo action platformer. So I'm trying to play less of those and really focus around the ones that have a very original setup. And like the game that I'm going to review, that the review is most likely coming out tomorrow morning. It's unfortunate because there's execution errors, but the base of the game had a really original concept behind it. It still does have an original fun concept. I shouldn't say it had. It has an original fun concept. There's just some execution things that need to be cleared up. If it's cleared up, but there's some design issues too. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it because the review's coming out tomorrow. But I do think that the game is salvageable to make it decent. But I think, unfortunately, to get like top notch, it's going to be like the next entry that from that developer is going to be the one that like sort of could knock it out of the park if they continue on and clean up some of the things that need cleaning up, if that's a better way of saying it. So honestly, this thing is coming together pretty quickly, pretty nicely. So we are building our Triforce symbols on each side. So I guess you guys can already see it coming together, but this is going to be the base for the sword. And I saw some Legos that were not necessarily directly gaming focused as well that I was very interested in. Like, I think the next one, if I enjoy these two kits, and so far I'm enjoying them very much, the next kit that I'm most likely not going to build on stream, just because for the channel I think interest will be fairly low, would be a Power Rangers kit. They have a Megazord made out of Legos, and I was like, what the heck? It looks freaking amazing. Yeah, no. And the game I'm reviewing is, I'm pretty sure when the review's going to come out tomorrow, most people don't even know this game came out. I was just sent a review copy and they were begging me to try it out, and I said, okay. And yeah. Sometimes that works out great, sometimes that works out less great. And it's unfortunate because in their demo, it was actually looking better than what it turned out to be. So we did this. Now we have to rotate it back again. They do a lot of rotates, man, in these instructions. And I have no problem with that, but there's like just a lot of rotates. What? Okay, hold on. I'm trying to understand something. First one. Okay, I think it's going to be the first one. Sorry. I'm pretty sure that this one is going to be the first, and then we put that on top, and then the third one on top of that one. But we're going to see if the triangle lines up properly. We're going to know right away, because if the triangle doesn't line up properly, that means there is a 2 underneath before we put the hook. But I think the hook comes first, and then there's just 2 2s on top. And I actually don't want to put a 2 on top to try to have to separate it. So I'm going to start by this. Let's look if the triangle lines up. And it lines up perfectly. So that is how it goes. So there is a second 2 at the top here. There we go. Now we need 2 3s. Who can guess what the next step after this is going to be? Not saying that instructions have to be surprising or secretive, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be rotating and doing the exact same thing on the other side. And yes, we are. Oh, not exact same thing. There is a slight difference. So we are rotating this over here. I saw another hook over here. The one thing I'm always like maybe less sure of is, are we going to be missing parts? Because Lego very, very rarely are missing parts, except I finally found my last part of the Lego set that we opened up together. I was missing one figure, the Spike figure. And how funny is it that I bought 2 more packs? I weighed them. They were both potential spikes, and they ended up both being spikes. So I have 2 spikes rather than 1, but one of the 2 spikes has a missing piece. So how lucky am I that I actually bought 2? Because imagine if you buy the one you're missing, you open up, it's the one you're missing, and then you're missing a piece. And it's not a very easy piece to find. Like, if you're missing like a gray, like a gray block like this, you can find those. That's not a problem. But it's a 2x2 flat with a peg in the middle, with just one peg in the middle. It's like, it's not the hardest part to find. Like, it's not a part that's made for just one set, but it's not exactly easy to find. It was only $20, Frenchie Mom. It was only $20. They are honestly, if you know Lego prices, this is really cheap. Like, sets like this in Lego would probably be like easily double to triple the price, especially because they're on a licensed property. Now, okay, technically this is I'm going to say illegal, because they're using the Zelda property. But when you go on TEMU, they don't call it the Master Sword. You know what I mean? They're skirting the line, where obviously if you know Zelda, you know it's the Master Sword, but they're not officially calling it the Master Sword. However, in the instructions, they do. The instructions, they call it the Master Sword. On the instructions right here at the top, they call it the Master Sword. But on the TEMU website, they are careful not to call it the Master Sword set. Like, they call it like Sword in the Forest or something like that. Yeah. I paid like 25 Canadian, so I'm assuming that in US dollars it must be around 20. It must be around somewhere. And well, I'll tell you what I got. I got brick heads because they made brickheads. If you don't know what a brickhead is, if you watched my recent video, it's basically, this is a brickhead. It's like a mini figure, Lego figure like this. And I got a set of 2 brickheads, with one is Link, classic Link from like Zelda 1, and the second one is Link from Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'd have to go look at the brickhead once it's done and compare the suits to see which one it is. I think it's more Breath of the Wild than Tears of the Kingdom. But we're going to have 2 Zelda brickheads, which I am also very excited to build. But honestly, not as excited as the Master Sword, because it's a bigger set, and I was really, really wanting to see what the quality was like. Because like I said, it'll make my decision if I start putting a little more purchasing behind some sets that aren't available. Now, by the way, I'm not going to flip to not buying Lego sets. I'm going to continue buying, like, every set that is officially available through Lego, I will. However, some sets like this, which are things I would really like, but for the moment, like, Lego just doesn't have the proper licensing for it, most likely. Like, I'm not going to feel bad buying it. Like, a Megazord from Lego, we're most likely never going to see a real one, because I don't think Lego is interested in the Power Rangers license. But I'd have to show you too on TEMU. It is freaking amazing. That, and in French they call him Goldorak, but I think it's Mazinger Z or something like that in English. Hey, buenos. Hey, Ones Kilos. How you doing, my man? We are moving on our... Honestly, I think we're like halfway through the base. Where honestly, it doesn't seem like it because we've been talking, but I think we're more than halfway through the base. Like, there's most likely at the end going to be a bunch of like little annoying parts to put together, like a lot of little parts, but still, like, if I'm looking at the bags, like, all the big parts are almost gone. But this, honestly, I'm so far extremely impressed with the quality here. Like, this doesn't feel cheapo. Like I said, if I closed my eyes and I grabbed the bricks, you would believe they are actual Lego bricks. And they're fully Lego compatible. Like, I have Lego Mario right here, and he pops like right on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try to grab like other Lego parts, but I'm pretty sure they're 100% compatible. Now, if you're a collector, though, I try to keep the big bricks separate to make sure not to try to mix them, because you don't want to mix these with like non-Legos if you're trying to, you know what I mean, like stay pure. But like I said, if you keep them in separate sets built up, I think these have a nice place. And like I said, specifically for the ones that Lego for the moment aren't gonna do. Like, apparently we're supposed to get a Zelda Korok tree, or the Great Deku tree. No, the Great Deku tree. I can't remember which one it is, but the Great Deku tree. Yeah, it's the Great Deku tree. We're supposed to get it, but like, I'm sure that's gonna be like a $200 set to $250. And like, it's fun from time to time to not have to like spend $350 like I did on Bowser. You know what I mean? Like that's insane. Like, from time to time it's fun, but I can't. I can't, and most people can't buy like 7 sets of those in a year. You know what I mean? Hold on, this is a little high. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, that is looking pretty freaking snazzy. Why do they have us rotate? Like, it's so weird. They're having us rotate when we're gonna have to rotate back to do the other side. It's like, that's what I said that's weird about rotations. It's like, since they had us on the other side, why didn't they just have us do like this side first and then rotate once to the other side? If that makes any sense. Maybe it has to do with the next step going from that other side, but still feels a little weird to have us rotate twice. One, two, three, four. Boom. Like I said, rotate back. Now we start with the doubles. To end with a single. Boom. That is done. This side. Okay, so now we're getting into the little stuff. So here we're going to do this. And we need a little hook thingy. Then we need one of these. To go in the hook. Now where are these clear? Oh, here it is. Clear thingamajig into the green thingamajig. Like, thingamajig is yes the technical term for these parts. Okay, we want this like this, and then we need this little part here, and then we're gonna go here. Like I said, we're probably gonna be taking a lot of time on like these little like finishing elements here at the end. Like, these are not big things, but it's a lot of little parts. And since I have big fingers, like sausage fingers, these are always the longest parts for me of Legos, is when we get to like the smaller details at the end. And there's supposed to be a green 2. Okay, hold on. Blue 4 here. Green 2, another green 2. And another 2x4. Boom. 1 a.m. here. I'm already at bed. Good stuff, 1 kilos, man. If you're just laying back, chilling out, watching the stream, that is the perfect type of scenario for tonight. Because there is not going to be any action gaming tonight. There's this. Then I have to, like I said earlier, after we're done this, I'm going to have to jump into editing a video together. And it sucks because I'm like strapped for time because there's 2 other reviews I would like to get out. Finish Prince of Persia, but I also need to do a deal video for like tomorrow or Wednesday. How many hearts are we going to need to yank this sucker out of the ground and make our way to Ganon? I don't know, buddy. How much was it in Breath of the Wild? It was like 12, right? 12, I think, was Breath of the Wild. Or it was a combination between stamina and that. I'm mixed up between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't remember if they're the same requirements. But I'm at the last end of Prince of Persia, so I have like maybe I would say like 2 hours left. But I'm still enjoying it a ton. The only thing that so far I would find negatively to say about it is that I find that the combat when you get to the end of the game is too dodge focused. And it's not that the dodge is hard. because by then, trust me, if you've beaten certain bosses, you have no choice but to master. Um, you have no sorry, I was reading a comment there. You have no choice but to showcase like your ability to count, like to counterattack a lot of things. I'm saying dodge, but I mean counterattack. Or parry, whatever you want to call it. Parry's probably the better word. But what happens is towards the end of the game, so many enemies are focused around that mechanic that a lot of fights, you spend half the fight looking at your enemy, waiting for him to attack. And I find it breaks up the flow of the combat a little bit. And it'd be fun to have a few enemies spread out where you don't have to do that. But overall, still very positive. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about very minor gripes here. Like, to me, this is not major gripes. These are minor things. And I just think that the combat system could have maybe somehow been revamped, where enemies didn't have to be so focused around that one mechanic towards the end of the game. Now, hold on here. I'm trying to see what they're trying to show us. Oh, it's bat wings. Okay. Sorry. I'm like, what the heck are they trying to show us? It's because the image is not... For the first time, the image is not super clear what the part is they wanted me to use. Okay, so we have one like this. Then we're supposed to have a regular gray one piece. Then we're supposed to have a horizontal holder. Don't worry, MKF, I saw your question. I'm going to get to it in a second. I just want to sort of complete this one step here that's a little bit more... I'm not going to say finicky because it's not hard. It's just like I don't want to forget a part. So we have bat wings that we have to hit here. And we have our golden leaf or frond or whatever we want to call it here. $20, Tony. 20 US. Like me, it cost me 25 Canadian. So it's about $20 US. Okay. Are showcasing that claw. I showcase the claw all the time. By the way, if you guys don't know, this isn't because I love lobsters or whatnot. It's from Friends. You know how they say you're my lobster for life? Like the episode with Phoebe where she's like, the lobster's holding claw in claw. Because both me and my wife are pretty big Friends fans. We grew up watching the show. So basically, me and my wife have the exact same lobster claw tattoo on our hands. So when we put our hands together, it's like our claws are holding each other. You understand? Like her claw would be here, and our two claws like hold claws like this. So yeah, that's the lobster claw thing. Exactly. You were thinking, Friends, she's my lobster. That's exactly what it is. And the worst is when I got the tattoo done, that I knew that like often when we do these top down things, I'm like, people are going to see it. And I'm probably going to start getting a ton of questions on why you have a lobster claw in your hand. So like I did it and I knew that like eventually it was coming, but you know, I think it's cute and fun. So and I'm not the kind of person that really cares what other people think, in the sense that obviously I care what you guys think. I want you guys to like the content and not all that, but I'm not going to stop myself from doing something like that just because I think some people are going to be like, that's stupid. And, you know, it probably is stupid to some people, and I don't really care. But it's fun because we have double infinity tattoos on our other arm. So we got this the week before we got married, and this was our 10-year anniversary gift to ourselves. So married, 10-year anniversary. MKF says, hey, what's up? That new Ninja remake game looks cool. I wanted to say, dude, the $70 collector's edition seems like a good deal versus limited run games. They charge you more for less, in my opinion. And I did say that in the video. I said that for a $70 collector's edition, like it's a little pricey just because we don't like I hope the game is good. I have confidence that the game is good because of the team behind it, but it's a little rough on pre-order for a game that isn't guaranteed to be good. That's why I'm finding it a little pricey cuz it's not like when I bought the collectors for the Castlevania collection. There is no doubt that the Castlevania collection games are great games because they've all been out before and we all knew they were great games. But like imagine the remake comes out and it has a bunch of trouble. You know what I mean? Or it's just not that good. Let's imagine the platforming is stiff, the combat is becomes too easy because they give us too many overpowered weapons or some stuff like that. This is not what I hope happens, by the way. I have positive vibes, or else I wouldn't have talked about the game. But let's say that happens and you've spent $70 on a collector's edition for a game that's not all that good. That's where I'm a little worried. But yeah, for $70, it's actually pretty decent value, especially the physical CD of the soundtrack. Like I said, I really love my soundtracks. I started collecting vinyls. And like when I say started collecting, I have 2 vinyls. Or well, 3 because one is a double. I have the vinyl for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is a double-sided vinyl. Awesome soundtrack, awesome vinyl. And I have the double soundtrack of Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, which are both double-sided vinyls. Well, if you like amazing chiptune music, those are killer vinyls. But they were pretty expensive. It was like $70 for the 2 vinyls. So vinyl collecting is a cool idea, but I don't want to I don't want to go too heavy in it because it's also a very expensive hobby. And I'm starting to have too many expensive hobbies. And I'm still waiting on some sponsor money to get my Steam Deck, which I hope will come in very soon. As soon as it comes in, I'm going to hunt down a used Steam Deck because, like I said, I do want from time to time to maybe cover indie games that are not coming out on the Switch, or like Berserk Boy, to actually play the demo on the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? On stream or something like that. So don't worry, we're always going to remain Switch focused. But I do think it's going to be a nice complement to the Switch content, where from time to time we can maybe take a sneak peek at a game coming to Switch to get hyped for it. You hope that the State of Play shows off Sonic Generations remake. Yeah, I'm actually going to watch the State of Play, because for those who don't know, I also have a PS5, which I do play from time to time, but I've got to say, I'm definitely not playing as much as I thought I was, because I really went hardcore back into the Switch. Like, I never really stopped going hardcore into the Switch, but I thought that once I would have my PS5, a little more of my time would end up dedicated to the PS5 naturally, just because I'd play like these big franchises that I hadn't played in a while. But I end up always coming back to my Switch and playing like retro games and Zelda likes and blah blah blah, because I just end up having more fun that way. But I'm not saying they're better. I'm saying I'm having more fun, because I know some people get like pissy when you compare like an indie game to like God of War or something like that, which, by the way, I love God of War. But still, if you give me Breath of the Wild or God of War, I'm actually more excited to play, or Tears of the Kingdom would be maybe a better recent comparison. I'm more excited to play Tears of the Kingdom. And that doesn't take anything away from God of War being an excellent game. It's just my tastes have gone in that direction. And honestly, I'll say something even different. I got more satisfaction from watching a compilation of all the cutscenes of God of War and watching the story unfold than playing the game. Not more fun, but what I mean is I felt very satisfied doing that, and it relieved the pressure to need to play the game, because I realized that games like God of War, I play mostly for the storyline, like a good movie, and the gameplay comes second, even though the gameplay is amazing. While something like a Zelda like, I play for the gameplay. And just watching the movies doesn't satisfy me. Retro games are the same, obviously, because retro games, it's like if I watch a Mega Man speed run, I like have to play a Mega Man game the next day. Why? Because that's the way it is. um okay, I'm gonna say they are visually they're heavily leaning into Pokemon, but I find that gameplay wise they're less of a ripoff than some other much closer games in the indie space that, however, focused on retro Pokemon. If you take something like, because like to me, there's two things: are you ripping off what visually the Pokemon look like, or are you ripping off the gameplay mechanics? And I find that Pal World, once you get really deep into it, is a much different game than Pokemon. While something like I'm terrible with names sometimes. The two retro Pokemon games they did that are they're excellent games, but they basically rip off exactly the mechanics and everything of Pokemon. There's two games in the series. They're sequels, and it's not the only ones who have done that. But I would say that it's the ones that I would say gameplay wise come almost identical to Pokemon, evolutions and all. Oh my god, what's it called? You can buy them as a double pack. Like I have them somewhere. I just have too many games to like visually try and find them. No, not Monster Hunter. Retro games. They are retro pixel art games, and they look like basically a GBA era Pokemon game. God dang it! Where's my phone? This is gonna kill me if I don't find it. Nexium. You're close. I think it's is it Nexium? Well, you have Coromon, but Coromon is not Nexamon. Nexamon. If you've ever played Nexamon or Nexamon Extinction, you're basically playing a GBA era Pokemon game, however, with different Pokemon. Like they're visually they're less ripping off directly the Pokemon, but gameplay wise, they're more ripping off Pokemon because almost everything in the game plays out exactly like Pokemon, like down to actually having like like what you call them Poke Centers, and like they don't call them Poke Centers, but you have a building that does the exact function of a Poke Center. You have a building that does the exact function of a Pokemart. Your storyline is very similar, although more gritty and edgy. Like what I would say is the basic difference is that the storyline, they're going more gritty and edgy in the storyline, where it's actually the end of the world that you're trying to stop rather than just becoming the world's best trainer. Like they're a little more gritty and edgy in the storyline, but to me, that is more closely ripping off Pokemon as a concept than Pal World. Because Pal World is mainly, it's that a lot of the visual designs are the same, and okay, you're catching monsters. But right now, catching monsters is a genre. Like, if catching monsters is a problem, there's a way bigger list of games that have problems. And what I actually find a little bit disappointing from a certain perspective, I'm going to skip the ads because you guys don't need another ad again. Personally, I find that the best thing Nintendo could do is maybe let them be, because they're going to just, like, if they try to shut them down or anything, unless they prove that they're directly ripping off like the, like, code and designs and whatnot. But if they're not doing that, Nintendo is better to just let them be. And you know what? All they should do is rip off some of the best ideas Pal World has had for the next Pokemon game. And when I say rip off, it's inspire. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, nothing is original. Everything we do, every game you play, every game we make is inspired by games you've played in the past. There are maybe exceptions out there with totally original concepts, but those are very few and far between. And even the original concepts, nonetheless, are often like evolutions of previous ideas brought in other games. And I don't think that Pal World is trying to be Pokemon. I think it really wants to be different, but I personally would have tried to change the visual appearance of the pals a little more. You know what I mean? Just because I would, as a game developer, I don't want my game to be seen as the rip-off Pokemon game. But I think a lot of people are going to see it that way because visually a lot of the pals, not all of them, but a lot of the pals do have very strong resemblances to Pokemon. Yes. But Nintendo should just borrow some of the best ideas. I'm not saying they should remake like a Pal World. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if they inspired themselves, inspire yourself from some things they're really doing. Base building is something that Pokemon should have now for at least 2 generations. I've been saying the biggest problem with the current Pokemons is they're one and done games. Now, the older games, like, I played over and over and over again, and I still have fun playing them over and over and over again. The new games, I don't really want to revisit unless new content comes out. And even now, most of the time when the new content comes out, I don't end up revisiting them. Why? The world doesn't make me want to invest in it, live in it, breathe in it. While what I think Pal World will be very successful is to have players play for a long time, because it's almost like a Animal Crossing meets Pokemon, in the sense that they're building a world, they're building a base, you're having a reason why the person's going to come back on a daily basis just to hang out with their pals, do different stuff in a world. Pokemon should have that by now. Like, you should feel like you're invested in the world, rather than just once you get to the end game, start shiny hunting. Because that's like, you know what I mean? That's like that's basically what the end game of Pokemon is now, is shiny hunting and stuff like that. Which is, once again, very narrow focused, while they could build more on the community side. But anyway. We've stayed stuck on the same step for a long time. That's my thought process, is that Nintendo should just look what worked for them and then just look, hey, you took our concept, we're going to take what worked great for you and evolve it our way. Okie doke, let's get back to this, because or else I am never going to have my Master Sword and Master Sword holder. Now, the one thing I'm worried here is I do not know where the Master Sword... How are we going to build a Master Sword from this? Like, it doesn't look like there's enough parts. But either way, like... I love my consoles. I love my games. But I don't see why people have to fight over games. Like, I can like the games I like. You can like the games you like. And you know what? I'm going to be very blunt. Nintendo doesn't need anyone defending them. Nintendo knows when to sue people, when not to sue people. Look what they did to the Smash Brothers community, like, shutting down tournaments and stuff. Like, trust me, if Nintendo wants to shut something down and they legally think they can, exactly. I love that all talk radio. It's going to keep... Nintendo is going to now maybe feel more on their toes. This is probably going to finally light the fire to say, like, holy crap, if we don't come out with something really killer for our next Pokemon game, we might actually start losing ground on the franchise. And you know what? The problem is, if other people start coming out with great game concepts like that, and we don't do anything, and we can't do anything legally because they're not exactly exploiting our code or whatnot. Yeah, but that I have no problem with. The Pokemon mod, like that, I have no problem with. Exactly. No, I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's fine because that was too far. Like, I'm sorry if you're a modder for an online game. Like, if it's a single player game where you play offline, like what they gonna do about it? Who cares? But for an online game, that was a dumbass move. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it bluntly, that was a dumbass move. You know, Nintendo was watching that game, especially when it started selling like crazy, and you know that they are gonna be like, heck no, we ain't letting no real Pokemon be in there. That was asking for trouble. But I don't think they're gonna get sued. They're just gonna shut it down. But yeah, so honestly, and it's time someone put them on their really on their toes, because other games have challenged them partially, but never as directly as this one, and never as successfully as this one. I think he was making money off the mod, yes. But even if he's not making money off the mod, that's one I wouldn't try right now. Like, even if you're trying to release it for free, unless you're doing it on an offline server, like unless you get like an offline server working for the game and whatnot, I would not touch that at all. Um, hold on, I was looking for a part here. Oof, we're getting close to the end, I feel. There's just a lot of little crappy parts all over. We're looking for a green, a dark green, which is this one. Like I said, like I knew this like little fiddly stuff here at the end was gonna be. And honestly, I think they partially did that, especially to be like, how are you gonna say we have Pokemon? We gave them guns. You guys would never do that to Pokemon. Like, honestly, I think that was part of like the let's do something so out there that there's no way a judge is gonna believe we're trying to pass these off as Pokemon because we gave them guns. You know what I mean? Like, that is something Nintendo would never do to a Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, just because it's their family, it's their ultimate family friendly franchise. So they would never ever give their Pokemon a gun. So by giving the pals guns, it's like saying like, because to win like um a real infringement is that you have to make the case that people are going to think your product can be passed off as theirs. Like, like we think that infringement is much easier to prove than it is sometimes. Like, oh, it looks like mine. Yeah, but is someone going to believe it's actually yours? Because don't forget that satire is completely legal. So if you do a satire of a product, like, that's what, why do you think that Saturday Night Live can make jokes about stars? And because although they're making jokes of them, no one is going to believe, like, like the fake Barack Obama. No one's going to believe that the guy is actually Barack Obama. So that's why it can exist, and it can be satire, and it's fine. And satire is protected. So by making it so ridiculously like impossible that you would give guns to Pokemon, I think that was one of their legal like moves to say, like, to reduce the possibility that Nintendo could try to say that you're trying to make people believe that this is a Pokemon game. Well, they've yeah, because like look, Farfetch'd has had like a stick sword for years. Like, do any Pokemons have an actual sword? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. I don't think any Pokemon has an actual sword even. But like, Nintendo would be way closer to giving a Pokemon a sword than they would a gun. Like to them, in my opinion, it would just like never happen. Simply never happen. Holy crud, man! There's so much little stuff here. Like this next one is. I think this is supposed to be a mini map of Hyrule, by the way. Like if you look at this, these are trees, a lake. This is actually supposed to be a miniature map of Hyrule, I think. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm using like the wrong finger to point it out, but it's because I'm holding something in between my index and my thumb. But I think this is gonna end up being a miniature map of Hyrule. I wasn't seeing it at first, but now I'm sort of starting to see it. It's actually a miniature map. Exactly. Well, they launch fireballs. They use their claws. They scratch each other and they use their claws and they slam with their horns. Like they use their horns to drill into each other. Theoretically, so they're still a violent bunch. Like I'm trying to see what the heck. Okay, so this goes like this. Like these little ones, man, they're putting a lot of these steps like all together. Then there's like a gray one here. Then they say to take like a green 2 and this to make like a house. And the house seems to be going behind this here. Hold on, this did not get onto the flower properly. Okay, there we go. So green, that, 2 of those. Yeah. Yeah, but that's a deal. You know what I mean too. Um, that's a deal between Ubisoft and Nintendo. So the only difference there is like Ubisoft isn't infringing on anyone because probably all their moves had to be okayed by Nintendo. You know what I mean? So and it's a deal. They're developing a game for Nintendo using one of their properties at the same time, which are the rabbits. And I'm not saying the rabbits are Mario level, but yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on the TMNT movie. Do you realize how we got like the first movie when you watch it over is so much better than like the second movie? Even though the second movie is still decent. I'm not totally dissing the second movie, but that's why they removed Casey Jones, right, from the second movie cuz Casey Jones they said was a bad influence for kids, showing like a human with a hockey mask being a vigilante. Because today superhero movies aren't like a total genre, right? But you know, that aside, can you imagine maybe the better quality movie like sequels we would have gotten if people would have been less dumb about that shit? Like number one, they would have never deleted like Casey Jones from the future, and man, he was such a perfect fit. The actor had such chemistry with the rest of the cast. Really disappointed we never got to see this like him in the sequel. He comes back in like the third one, but the third one's just freaking awful. Um but yeah, like yes, that was just a super dumb call. And like, I hate when studios cave to parental pressure because let's be honest, even let's imagine that the studios say, we're not listening to any of you, we're popping out our movie the same way with Casey Jones and all that. With the size of the Turtles franchise back in the 90s, do you think parents would have told their kids you can't see the Turtles movie? Do you think that parents would have told their kids you can't say the Turtles movie because Casey Jones is in it? Or because it's a little bit too violent? Like, dude, that's what made the series great. And anyway, don't get me started on Turtles movies. I was gonna I hate thinking of how good certain things could have been if people were just like, if you disagree with it, just don't go watch it. Like, that's always my attitude for most things. It's like, let people be, and if you don't like it and it's not actively hurting someone, just don't watch the movie. And it's a parent's job to stand up to their kid, because some parents are like, oh yeah, but if you put the movie out, my kids are going to bug me to go, and how can I tell them no? Well, that's your job as a parent to deal with that. That is not everyone else that has to not put out movies because you can't stand up to your kids and say, I don't agree with this, I'm not bringing you to see that movie. But yeah. Parenting 101, guys. Well, definitely. Look at the Mario movie. Critically, not a big success, but fans loved it. And in the end, who buys tickets? Is it the critics or is it the fans? It's the fans. And especially today, how many of you still watch traditional movie reviews? Like, I'm talking Siskel and Ebert, movie reviews in like magazines or TV shows or newspapers. And how many of you watch your movie reviews from other YouTubers? Yeah? How many of you? And those are the people you need to impress. If you get the actual fans, and most of the people reviewing movies, they review movies in genres that they are fans of. So they are fans reviewing the movies for the fans. Those are the people you need to impress. Because honestly, I think social media influence for movies is what's going to make or break a movie. And it's not about pandering to the fans either. It's not just about giving them everything they want, because at one point fans too, like, don't forget that not every fan's going to agree with one another, but it's about just let me just see something here. So 2 times this, so we need 2 of those, 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we're going to make a little tree here. Exactly. So, like, but I think movie studios are getting wise to it, and Nintendo was wise to it because Nintendo's been dealing with this shit for years. They know that, and let's be honest, video game critics are not movie critics. Like, they're not stuffy pants people. You know what I mean? In the sense that even the really professional ones are generally movie game reviewers because they're gamers, they're gamer fans. So they know the history behind the series they're reviewing. And, you know, there are some big outlets out there that I don't like so much, but at least the advantage too with big outlets is generally they'll have a game being reviewed by someone who's a fan of the genre the game is in. Like, they won't generally give someone who hates RPGs an RPG to review. You know what I mean? And so forth. Yeah, no, I know. It's I know what you're saying, and she didn't realize that the cat suit is an actual Mario power up. I know. I like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're disconnected with the source material, and you're basing your like. She forgot that this is a movie based on a franchise that is now 40 years old. Mario is next year going to be 40 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 80? I have to look the release date in Japan. I know why I have 85 ringing in my head, but now I have a doubt that it could be 84. But either way, sorry, I'm trying to build this tree, but this last peg is being a little tough to get in, and this is the only piece that I might be scared could actually break. Oh, got it. Nice. So we have our little tree here. And where is this tree supposed to go? Here-ish. Yeah, no, it really is a mini map of Hyrule. I'm pretty sure it's 85 too. I just have a doubt that maybe it came out in Japan in 84 and that, but no, they'd be making a huger stink if this was like Mario's 40th anniversary. Like Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary. But anyway, the point being that overall you can't review a 40-year-old franchise and make comments like that without actually informing yourself before if it has anything to do with the source material. Because the problem is that most professional reviewers that are 50 and above, let's say, okay, only know about Mario from like maybe playing Mario 1 with their kids. Man, TMNT's 40th anniversary. You do, by the way, I have a plan that got kiboshed talking about TMNT. On the post-holiday sales, I actually bought the TMNT Countercade. The TMNT arcade game Countercade, the one with TMNT Arcade and Turtles in Time Arcade, because I wanted to hack it and put other, like, I wanted to make a video to hack it and put other games on it, because there's hacks out there. But the specific hack I wanted is a hack that actually doesn't, basically it runs off of like a flash drive, so you don't actually need to let, basically you can still keep the original cabinet as well. If you take the flash drive out and you start up the cabinet, it starts up 100% normal. And then if you put the flash drive in, it starts up like as an emulator, and you can play any arcade game, like any beat 'em up arcade game. And I found one on sale and I was super excited. I bought it. I got home. And then I realized that it only works with the 2-player version. And I bought the single-player version. And because it was a Boxing Day sale, it was a final sale. So I'm still not disappointed that I have the Countercade, because I still like, you know, it's still a TMNT Countercade and it's still TMNT and blah, blah, blah. But I now have to find a 2-player version so that I can actually get that video done. But once again, cash-wise, it's going to have to wait a tiny bit, because if you guys don't know, January is garbage for YouTube. And I'm not complaining as in the sense that I'm in money trouble. That's totally different. It's just that now I have a separate budget for the channel and personally, and I could afford it, but the channel can't, and I'm not going to dig into my personal funds for that. So we're just going to wait in a couple of months when the budget goes back to normal. and I'm gonna find a two-player countercade. The worst is it was like $100 in the US just a few weeks ago, and I missed the sale. So I could have had that done. And actually, I want it's in Australia as well, if I'm not mistaken. We call it Boxing Day, but like in other places, it's just like post holiday or whatnot. But and actually, since I'm gonna get the two-player version, and I already have the TMNT countercade, I'm actually looking for the Marvel Superheroes one. Oh, don't worry about it, champ. It's all good. Don't be sorry if you can't make the streams. It happens. By the way, this week's streams are gonna be I won't be able to stream on Friday because I have another work event, but this is the last one for this year. Well, no, it's not the last one for this year because I do have to sometimes normally work on Fridays, but normally that should only happen like once almost every 2 months. But this is actually a work event, like a party type thingy majig. So this is the last one of those. So most, what did I hit? What did I hit? God dang it. Oh, it's the tree. Okay. Oof. I'm like, I hit something off the tree. Most likely it's gonna be Saturday, but do keep like tuned in because there is a slight possibility it's gonna be Thursday late. Okay, I work till 8 on Thursday. So it would be like around 9 p.m. Eastern time. But I know a lot of you don't like late. Well, not like, but I know less people come to the streams when they're like past 7 o'clock. But anyway, I'm still Thursday late is better for you. Awesome. Well, I'll take that into account, and but I'll just look it over because I sort of told my wife I'm going to do it on Saturday, and she sort of like gave me a disappointed face. So I was like, okay, because when I work till 8, there's also the point that I have a little bit less energy than when I finish earlier. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I'll let you guys know by Wednesday. Like I'll decide by Wednesday when I'm doing it, and I'll post it on. I'll put a post on the channel to let us know, to let everyone know when it's happening. What the heck is this? Okay, this is like this. Then we flip it around. They like their flips, man. They like their flips. We're almost done, by the way, guys. We have like maybe 10 parts left. And then we get to the part 2, which is supposed to be the sword. And honestly, I don't know how those 2 little bags make a sword, but we shall see. Give me a sec here. Let me concentrate for 2 seconds. Okay, then we have this here. 3 here. This one that is supposed to be like this. Okay. Oh no, the 3 goes on top. Dang it. Okay. This and this. And then the 3 goes on top here. Okay. And then we've got this big thing with this here. And it goes where? Why is there like a steeple here? Wait, this here, this here. And this like so. This is like the temple, right? So this is gonna fit in here-ish. Then we have a little raccoon. Yeah. No, a little squirrel. My God, raccoon. Wow, dumbass. A little squirrel. He's the one hanging out on the little hook down here that we've been looking at since the start. So we've got our little squirrel here on the side. Chipmunk, squirrel. It's all good. I'm really wondering how we're going to build a sword, man. Okay, we're at step 2. We're at the sword. And this is the bags we have to build the sword. We shall see. We shall see. What cookie cutter? I saw cookie cutter. I'm trying to remember what cookie cutter is. What the heck is cookie cutter? But like, yeah, I watched Lego Masters a few times. I just haven't. I haven't found a service here that streams the full seasons, and online you can't get like full seasons. So, yeah, but yes, I've watched Lego Masters before, a couple of episodes here and there, but I stopped because I sort of want to find a service that I can watch a whole season, because if I watch like episodes here and there, the problem is that if I want to watch a whole season later, like parts of it are going to be ruined. Yeah, I know VPN. Well, does anyone know what country Lego Masters is available with a VPN? If someone knows what country I can VPN to it. I just honestly, I do have a VPN, professional VPN service. I just don't use it much for streaming because there's so many things I watch with my wife and everything that we always wind up finding something that I don't need to bug a VPN for. Okie doke. So let's get started on our master sword. Like I said, I'm very intrigued on how all this is going to come together to make a master sword. Oh, wait a sec here. This is not the right cube at the bottom. We need one that has pins on every side. Now, I'm going to have to be careful because I just realized that, some have pins on only 2 sides, some have pins on all sides, and they're not exactly clear on which is which. Now, this is a Lego block I've never seen before. It's like a 3/4 block. This one here, it's like not a full block. It's like it's like a 2/3. So we are like this. And now we're going to line up another one. With Another 2/3 block. I'm gonna have to pay really a lot of attention here. Hey, Wild One, how you doing, my man? I'm gonna have to pay a lot of attention because they're rotating also between 2/3 blocks and full blocks. So this is a little dicey. I actually want to really play Tekken 8, by the way. Tekken 8. I pronounce it the French Canadian way. Tekken. But Tekken 8. I want to play Tekken 8 because love Tekken, and I haven't been into a Tekken game in a little while, and it feels like a really good jumping on point because the series seems to be changing a lot. You guys have no idea how far back though my Tekken is. Like the last Tekken game that I can say I really played, because like I tried Tekken games after that, but like when I say played, I mean like I had a character I would consider that I can hold my own a bit in a match for. The last time would be Tekken 4. Okay. Tekken 4. That's a freaking long time ago. Yeah, well, I want to play it, but it's not a game that I felt I had to have on release. Obviously, I don't want to wait like a year before getting it because then you're going to be so far behind everyone else learning the game that it's going to be like you're it's not unsurmountable, but you're going to have like a really bad like 2-3 months at the beginning where like just everyone kicks your butt. Play Zelda in Switch? Why would it be too late to play Zelda in Switch, Mallow? You can play Zelda with a Switch anytime you want, and it is probably one of the most prevalent franchises on the system. So you have a lot of choice of games. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, Tekken actually started it. Tekken is one of the series that started giving real story modes to all their characters as endings. I would argue that Tekken was actually before Mortal Kombat. Because Tekken 1 had endings for each one of their characters at the end of the game. And like little cutscene stories. So I would argue theoretically Tekken started. Mortal Kombat just basically like went all in. You know what I mean? Like when I say all in, they went like all in. Man, I really hope I'm putting this together like with the right combinations. But it seems to be. Holy crap, man! This finally this sword is gonna be longer than I thought. It's not like it's not gonna be a wieldable sword, but it's gonna be longer than I thought, and because we're still not done, we still have more. We still have more. Another full size. Another 2. And finally, we have the tip. Just a tip. There we go. We got El Tipo. Tubi app? Thank you, Primetime. Very much appreciated. I'll check it out. Oakley dokily. So we've got like the sword base, if we will, done. Oof, I just had a case of deja vu. I don't know why, like just saying that for some reason I had like a sick case of deja vu. This is an 8, right? Yeah, it's an 8. Okay, so we're supposed to start here like this, then combine it with a 6. Okay, so far so good. Then combine it with a flat gray 4. Oh, wait. Nope. Tiny mistake there. It doesn't start at the lowest one. This is actually a 3. And it is supposed to be a 3. Okay. Followed by a gray 6. Ugh. I knew these were going to be hard to line up perfectly. Okay, got it. Once we get a few in, it's going to be easier because right now there's like, you know, tiny deviations in the blocks, but it's enough when you try to peg in the straight ones that they don't go in 100% straight. Okay, we got that done. We got that done. Okay, we're here. So we need a 5 blue. Then we need an 8 gray. And then we should have oh, this is coming together way quicker than I thought. Are we talking combo breaker? Are we talking about Mortal Kombat or what do you call it on SNES? That is also on Xbox after that. Oh my god, I have it. I have it boxed on top of it. It's one of the rare. No, no, I don't have it boxed anymore. Oh my god. I knew it because it was the black card. Killer Instinct. Actually, it's better like that. Killer Instinct. Mallow Base, welcome to the channel supporters. Hey, welcome, my friend. Thank you for becoming a supporter. And I'm sorry, since this is my top-down camera, I actually don't have the notifications activated on the screen. So you'll hear the sound, but you're not going to see it on the screen. I'm so sorry, Mallow, but welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a channel supporter. That is very appreciated. Okay, we've got one here. Longer one. Little gray one. Because of all the small parts, my fingers are starting to ache. You know, like, I don't know if you guys have ever built, like, big Lego sets, but if you have never built big Lego sets, like, when I say big, like, I mean sets that take a long time to build with a lot of steps, the worst are the little ones, the little parts, because they work the fingertips. Now this like little one by one doesn't want to go in, but it will, and it did. And this goes like this. So actually it's coming together pretty nicely. And finally, I do see how just those two little bags are actually going to become our master sword. So now we flip to the other side. An 8. A 26. So a lot of repetition on the other side, but hopefully it's going to go together smoothly because right now everything should be properly lined up. Oh, MKF30 as well. Welcome to the channel, supporters. I think you've been in the past though, but welcome back, my friend. Very appreciated as well. Sorry once again that the notifications aren't activated. I really didn't think anyone was going to be like joining or anything on a Lego stream, so I'm sorry. That's why I didn't take time to like in this particular scene, because if you don't know how OBS works, it works with scenes. So I didn't take time to add on the notification like window on this scene. And I guess that was a bad call. So sorry, guys. But I hope at least me acknowledging it. Oh, no problem, my man. And that is super appreciated. Thank you so much for becoming a member. It is very appreciated. But yeah, it's seriously, I didn't expect it. So sorry about not having the notifications on there. Sometimes this stuff happens in the most unexpected times. That is done. So I think we have everything done on this side. Okay, we have the 3 flat, long. Oh no, we're gonna have to hold on. You know what? I'm gonna put the 1 first, and then I'm gonna fit the 8 after. Because the 1, like when you line it up against another block, directly against another block, they're sometimes very, very like testy about how it's getting on, and for some reason when it's just a 1 by 1, like a 1, it's a little harder to get lined up properly. So we have our blade for our master sword looking pretty freaking snazzy. No problem, Mallow. Guys, never feel bad if you have to stop supporting or something like that. I mean, it is always appreciated, never required, and you know, you never have to give me excuses why you would have to stop for a while. If you have to stop, you have to stop. That's it. So just in the sense that if you feel like you want to tell me why, no problem. You know, I will listen. But what I was saying is, don't feel like you have to, you know, explain why you wouldn't be able to or something like that. It is not something that is 100 required. I don't get this. I don't get this step. Oh, it's a double pin. I just saw it's a double pin. Because you understand, like, to me, it was like a 1 with a flat on top, okay? And then the next step is like you put one of these, but I'm like, if that's a flat, this isn't gonna hold. But then I saw here, this is a double pin. So, like I said, here it is. That's why it didn't make sense. So, okay, we want the flat on one side of this, and it has to be the one without the hole. And we're gonna flip this, and we're gonna use the 4-sided purple one. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put that away because visually it's gonna make things very hard to see. And actually, I just realized this set has a lot of blue, and my mat's blue. So visually, that is not the best combination. And probably this purple is looking bluish. But this is purple. This is very deep purple. There's supposed to be a rod somewhere. Yeah, here. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So we needed that so that it would go through the hole. There we go. A little green. Yeah, it's probably like if you pay really attention, it's gonna look like purple. It's just like the reflection of the blue on this is probably making it look like a bluish purple when it's actually a deep purple. Like if I pull this away for a second, uh, still too much blue around. It's reflecting because the lights are so intensely focused here that it's reflecting. Okay. So we did that, we did that. Okay, and then we have to do another one. And another one. And another one. And then we're doing it again, but this is no surprise because the hilt of the sword is basically alternating between purple and green. Okie doke. Now this one. There's a purple one left. It wants me to take one of these, put it into the center here. Take one of these. Actually, we should probably put this in first. Okay. That didn't work as planned. Hold on. Okay, no, I got back in. Okay. I just wonder if this is supposed to be deeper in. I can get it deeper in if I need to. I'm just gonna press it down. But we're not gonna get it deeper in unless I'm sure I need to, because getting it out is probably gonna be harder than getting it in. And I know what that just sounded like. Okay. Oh, actually, no, wait, there's one pins on them. Two more of these. It's actually coming together really nicely, and like I said, I'm pretty impressed with the set. Like, we're not even really done yet, but I'm pretty impressed already. Now we have to get the stickers on. Like, theoretically, we should have gotten the stickers on before. Oh my god, do they want us to do it like this? Hold on, let me just see if it wraps all the way around. It does. Or do they want us to do it? Because, like, I can wrap it like this as well. And then it would make sense to doing it after. Oh my god. No, it looks like it goes like this. I'm gonna look. I'm making a call. We're gonna do it like this. I know, measure twice, cut once, but no, it's gonna look better like this. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna work the sticker a bit to make sure that I have no air bubbles and that I get it as tight as possible, having like no seam. Now this is definitely the way, because the other way around, like, you would have seen the seam because there would have been no way to directly line up the pattern perfectly. So here we go. That's what I thought. It's not in there. It's not in there deep enough. Hold on. I don't want to break it, but I have to get it in there deeper. Let's see what it's supposed to look like. There we go. Whew. And the one thing is, this doesn't hold, at least for the moment, very securely. Like, it works. It just doesn't hold exactly super securely. I don't think this is going to be a sword that is meant to be wielded. But it's a good, anyway, it's good to know that, like, it holds, but it's not exactly like holding like cement. Like, if I shake this enough, like, you can see the wobbliness. Like, the top is wobbling. Okie doke. So now we have to build the rest of the guard. But I'm gonna wait till the guard is built to see, because I do think there's going to be like somewhat of an anchor point, but we'll see. Let's finish up this build. We're very close to the end. Once again, we've got like maybe 20 parts left, 25 maybe. Like this. And we take this. One of these. Like that. One of these like that. With one of these like so. And finally a like this. And like that. And then this comes here. And we have one guard. Oh, we have to do it twice, obviously. I'm like, is it going to be like a Lego and they're going to show us how to do it on the other side? No. This one is like, do it yourself. We showed you how to do it on one side, just do it on the other. So we have that. We grab one of these with this. Like that. I should have done both of them at once. It would have actually been way quicker. And we do like so. Like so. This and this. And then we plug this here. Now we have to put the sticker on. Ooh, I hate, like, honestly, stickers are always like my least favorite part of like anything, just because they're so, they can make or break everything. And even the tiniest like little imperfection is going to be like super apparent. We got one. We got two. No, no, it's a little bit off. Oh, God. There we go. That is perfect. Whew. That one was a little bit off. It was a little crooked at the bottom, and that would have annoyed me forever. Okay, now we have to put the jewel on each side. One jewel. 2 jewels. Like, part of me thinks that you could also not put the stickers on the sword, and it would look totally fine. Like, you can see the stickers when you're up close. So, I think it's, like, really a call whether you wanna put them or not. I'm happy with them on. I'm just saying I can see an argument for some people saying, "I'm not putting the stickers on." And we are supposed to be done our master sword. So, we can now place the master sword in its pedestal. And honestly, it is looking pretty freaking sweet. Like, obviously, I'll give you guys like a better view. Like, if you watch, like, I'm gonna put a video out, like I said, with the construction of the sword. But honestly, it's looking pretty awesome. And like I said, I didn't notice at first that the design of the top of the mantle was like a miniature Hyrule. But if you look at it closely, you'll see like you see the trees, you see the lakes, you see a little hut, you see like the different temples. You come around, like it makes a lot of sense. It really is like a mini version of Hyrule. Obviously, it's not like exhaustive, but you like when you're looking at it from the top here, like this, you can see that it's like supposed to be a landscape. Raph is my favorite turtle as well. I think it's a lot of people's favorite turtle. Raph is always the coolest. Of course, the last Ronin is Michelangelo, but you know, theoretically, that's an alternate timeline that could or could not be reality. Now, we're supposed to build a few little animals too, I think. We're not 100% done. We are not 100% done yet. Hold on. We're supposed to build a little wheel with. What is this? Are we building like a hot air balloon? That's a possibility. And honestly, considering that this thing is $20, well, the last Ronin video game is gonna probably be pretty hardcore. Is it still going, or was that one of the freaking cuts of last week? Because wasn't one of the studios doing the last Ronin one of the ones that got like major cuts last week? Okay, so this is like just supposed to be like a campfire. Then we're supposed to make like a little like frond. Plant thingy. We're supposed to make a little. Oh, I think this is supposed to be like a what you call it, robot. And we have like a chick, an apple. Like honestly, they could have not included these little things. A barrel, a chick, and a rabbit for some reason. Let's see if they give us where we're supposed to be putting them. No, they do not. And here, even on the top here, they're sort of just hanging out at the base of the sword. So they are just hanging out at the base of the sword, chilling with their chicken. Well, the chicken makes sense because like there's chickens in Zelda. Rabbit, apple, and a barrel. Sure, I guess. little extras, but honestly, I don't feel like this was needed, and I don't know where I'm going to put them because obviously this is going to go on my display in the back, like in the studio, and this is just not going to fit anywhere. But seriously, let's switch to, like, it'll be better on the other camera. I'll switch it. Hold on, guys. I'll switch over to, like, I'll flip my camera to the regular place. It'll take like 30 seconds, but the coolest sword in fiction. Let me think about that one while I set things up and get a better view. Testing, testing. Hey, everyone. You should be able to hear me now. So at least this part is done. Is the other microphone muted though? Because I do not want to have some reverb. Should be. So we should be good on that end. Actually going to unplug the other mic, not take any risks. Yeah, it's I love this shirt. Oh. Can you guys hear me? Are we still good? OBS like froze there for a second. But yeah, I love this shirt. The only thing is when I bought it, they had this and they had a Devastator t-shirt. And I was debating between the two. And now thinking about it today, I should have just bought both of them. Because I really love, like, Devastator is... I know he's a bad guy, but when I was a kid, I loved Devastator, and I always wanted to have all the Constructicons to build Devastator. And as a kid, I never managed to have all the Constructicons, so it's one of those like unfinished dreams. And nowadays, when I look at the original Constructicons, they're so like not up to par with modern Transformers that I sort of lost the desire to. Hey Scott, how you doing? To get the original Constructicons, but I still want a Devastator. And I'm actually looking at the fake Devastators from AliExpress and stuff like that, because once again, they make some really, really nice ones. So let's take a look at the Master Sword. Now, normally, this is the way you're going to look at it. So the sword does wobble a bit, but it's going to be a display piece. So once you've put it in straight, you're good. You can draw it. Can we? It's snagging on something. There we go. You can draw the Master Sword. It's not too bad, actually. It's not going to fall apart. Like, if you hold it, like, obviously, if you start swinging it, like, rough, it's going to fly apart. But, like, if you just swing it normally and you just, like, you know, hold it in your hand, you're fine. It's just, you know, if you give it a huge swing, what's going to happen is the hilt's going to stay in your hand and the head's going to go flying. But overall, honestly, I am really, really impressed with the set. For like I said, for 20 bucks, you're getting a ton of value. The parts are compatible with Lego parts, and on top of it, like seriously, like this would be so much more expensive if it was real Lego. And I'm telling you guys, like I know I can't communicate feeling through the camera, but these parts feel like Lego parts. Like maybe if you put them side by side and you did like a break test, they might break a little bit quicker than Legos, but like for all intents purposes and regular uses, you're not going to feel a difference. And I mean, I think it's going to look pretty freaking sweet, like somewhere around there-ish. Hold on, I want to get Pack Dude to the front. I don't want Pack Dude to fall over. Pack Dude's light. That's the problem with Pack Dude. He's cool, but he's cool, but it's a model kit and he's really light, so he can fall over easily. So I mean, it's pretty sweet there in the background. Obviously, because I'm in front of it, we're not gonna see it like every single time, but it still hurts when I step on them. Honestly, in my life, I haven't stepped on that many Legos. I know as a kid I remember doing them, but as an adult, I haven't stepped on very many Legos. I know it's who asks me every time I build a Lego, like, how many Legos did you step on? Bowser, I stepped on 0 Legos, and that was an 8.5-hour build. So it was pretty. I consider that a pretty good outcome. But seriously, guys, it was a lot of fun building that sword. Like, it's a build that's fun to do on top of it. It's not overly complex. There are little tedious moments when you get to the little stuff building the city, but also seeing it come together with the little tree, the little buildings, the lake, all that. It actually really, it's fun. And some of the best Lego sets that I've done in the past years are these like miniature vistas and stuff. Like the postcard set is super cheap, and I find it really fun. We did the New York postcard, Japan, Australia, and Paris? No, England, London. Postcards, and they are really fun. Like making these like little vistas and little worlds in Lego, I think is a really awesome thing. And it also is, I really like the dioramas. I don't have one yet, but the Star Wars dioramas, I really hope they do that for other sets as well, because I find that they're really nice display pieces that take less space than the big Legos. Because, you know, Legos, the biggest problem with them is that they take a lot of room often. And I find the dioramas are a perfect middle ground where you can fit like 5 or 6 of them side by side on a shelf. There's no risk of them falling off and pieces falling off. And you get a whole like scenario from a movie or from a world or whatnot. Malobasa, your channel allows me to learn that there's a lot of games on Nintendo Switch. The only thing that I know is Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, but when I watch your videos, I feel there's a lot of fish in the sea. Well, I'm glad that's the point. Honestly, when I started this channel, like, I'd have to look when the first eShop deals video was, but actually, I can look that up. I feel like it's like 3 or 4, like maybe even 4 years ago now. But hold on, let's take a quick look. If I go to my playlists and I go to, I have to reorder these playlists. eShop deals. Like, how is eShop deals one of the last freaking playlists on the list? Okay, everything's not there. There's 309 videos in the playlist. Hold on. Give me a sec. We're getting a freaking commercial. Okay, hold on. View full playlist there. Okay, thank you. Holy crap, man. Hey, do you know I did 300 so far in the playlist? There are 309 eShop deals videos. Like some channels have less than 300. 3 years ago, the first eShop deals that officially is in the playlist is from November 2020. But there is a slight possibility that I made a couple of videos before actually making the official playlist. Oh yes, I did see that there were new icons, but yeah, they're really awesome. But wow, man, it's crazy that I've been doing this for 3 years like over 3 years, because 3 years was in November. If that is the official first eShop deals. But basically, the whole point I was trying to make was to answer for Mallow's comment was that when I started this, I honestly started it simply to be like, I find there's so many little indie games that not a lot of people are talking about. I was watching Alex's channel, I was watching Switch Up, and I was like, these guys are doing an awesome job, but I think there's even more games that, like two people, two channels will never have time to see. So I think there's place and the time for that. And basically that's how it started. And I bought like, I've some of you have maybe heard the story like 20 times now. So it's like, but I basically started looking into it, and I'm the kind of person that I'm not going to review or suggest games unless I feel that I've played enough of them to make the suggestions. And at that point, the Nintendo Switch was fairly new to me. So I actually bought like over 200 games over 3 months. And I did that by selling my Sega Genesis collection. But that's the kind of person I am. I'm not saying everyone has to do that to start a channel, by the way. If you want to just play one game and review that one game, no problem. But I'm the kind of person that feels like if I'm going to review Switch games, I have to play enough Switch games first to sort of have a scale. You know what I mean? Because if you've never played a Switch game in your life and the first Switch game you pick up is Metaloid Origin, you could be like, man, this game is so freaking awesome. It's a 10 out of 10. But then you haven't played Ori yet. And if this is a 10 out of 10, what the heck is an Ori? Do you understand what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that my scores are perfect, because obviously over time, there's a few reviews that if I had to rescore them, I would score them differently. But I wanted to play enough indie games that I knew what was like what felt like a 10, what felt like a 9, what felt like an 8, what felt like a 7. And so forth and so forth. So basically, so I did that. It's sort of the same idea that when I don't know if I've talked about it a few times, but I want to start doing headset reviews because not a lot of people are talking about wireless headsets for the Switch, like focused on the Switch. And like here, I grabbed like a handful because they were like right over there on the ground. But basically, I could have bought like 2-3 headsets and said, okay, this one's good, this one's not so good, and this one's better. You know what I mean? Like, but basically, I didn't. I bought a dozen. Now, obviously, I wish I could have bought 25 headsets or 50 headsets, but I had to be realistic with the budget I had. So I still bought like a dozen different wireless headsets. And this is just the 4 that I had like here on the ground because they were like in the last round of testing. And basically, because I'm like, if I'm going to start reviewing or testing or suggesting headsets, I have to have tried enough headsets to really feel like okay, this type of headset sounds like. This is what this one um does very well, and so forth. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the way my approach has always been. And I did the same thing when I did eShop deals. I had to play a bunch of games. The good news is that indie games are generally cheaper, but I still spent like something like the first year of the channel, I must have, no joke, spent like almost $3,000 to $4,000 on games just to have like eShop deals running all year and try new games. Because what people forget is in the first year, till I had about 5,000 subscribers, no one was giving me review codes. So I had to buy each and every game I wanted to try for eShop deals and each and every game I wanted to review, on top of buying AAA games that were coming out that I wanted to play and whatnot and whatnot. So the first years of the channel was bleeding money. And not everyone has to do that. You could play one indie game a week, spend $5, review one indie game a week, and still make a channel with 50 reviews in that year on top of doing a few eShop deals videos. But exactly, but like there's different ways of starting up a business, but for me, I felt like to feel like I know what I'm talking about. Like I know, I've been playing games for years and years. I worked at GameStop. I've been in business, but the Nintendo Switch to me was a new area, and indie gaming was a new area because I wasn't really super deep into that till I really jumped onto the Switch full steam. And for that, I felt I needed to do that. So I actually was playing games like 2 or 3 months before I ever made my first video, just trying indie games nonstop. And basically, that's it. And so the one thing Switch Up does great is that they're patched up videos. I wish more channels did follow-up reviews on games that improved with their updates. That I agree, Tony. I do want to do it as well. It's just time constraints. But I've done it a couple of times. I did it for Monster Harvest. I did it for, like, rather than doing patched up and taking like a batch of games, because I just don't have time to replay like 10 games that I already played. It's when I get one game, I'm like, hey, let's try this one. I rather do a focus video on the fact that, okay, this game, I gave it a bad score, or I talked about it badly, or people out there are talking about it badly, and now I find it's great. And Monster Harvest, by the way, is an awesome game now, I find. Like, for the value of the sale it's being sold at, it's a really good game. Well, that's just like an example. But I've done it for at least 2 or 3 more games than that on the channel. I'd have to find the videos and what the games are. But you're right. And if I wasn't alone, that would be something much more plausible. Because one thing that Switch Up does that they're very, very smart, and if you watch their reviews carefully, is that they don't actually play or write all their reviews. Sometimes at the beginning of their review, they'll tell you this other channel played this game, wrote the review for us, and basically they must be compensating them in some fashion. And by the way, I'm not complaining. This is super legit and this is super smart. I'm telling you, these guys have like, that's why they managed to put out so many reviews, just the two of them. It's because a lot of people are helping them out, doing reviews for them. And obviously they must be compensated somehow. But that's why they managed to do all of that, is that basically they're a 2-man team in the channel, but in reality, there's maybe like an extra 3-4 people from time to time that help out in the background, which are really, it's really a great thing. And I would love to maybe do that, but honestly, with the size of the channel currently, I wouldn't be able to, I would feel compensate someone fairly for that type of work, because sometimes people don't realize what type of work goes into reviewing a game. And it's something that pays off over time as the channel grows, but it sometimes is going to take a crap ton of time, in the sense that, like, if we're talking about hourly wages, okay, I'm just going to take a random one, for example. Let's just take one of, I'm going to take a bigger review. Okay, a bigger review. Let's go to my videos. Let me just type review. I'm gonna grab one that I would consider one of the bigger viewed reviews. And we're not going to look at a controller or something like that because that's like a different story. See, my reviews aren't the biggest viewed things on the channel. Like the big ones are around 3,000 to 4,000 views, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about in a second. But it's fine. By the way, I'm not complaining in the sense that this is just something that, number one, I'm not doing enough reviews, which is why probably my reviews aren't getting as many views as they could be getting. Okay. Why? Because basically I'm not doing enough. And so people aren't coming regularly to check out my reviews. Okay. But give me a moment here. I'm going far back to make sure that it's a review that's like grown over time. Oh my god, my Cyber Shadow review is so sad. 377 views after like 2 years. It is freaking disgustingly bad. Okay. Oddly enough, it's a totally random game, and now I would probably score different than what I did back then. Let me just switch the chat here to a different thing, and you're gonna see how sorry YouTube reviewing games can be from time to time. And this is a decent review in the sense that the game didn't cost a lot of money. Okay. Give me a sec here. Now you're gonna get to see my analytics here. I'm just making sure there's no like like confidential information. No, there's not. Okay. So this is Dungeonoid, a review that I did like 3 years ago that has accumulated over 3 years 3.7 thousand views. Not a huge video, okay? And like I said, but my reviews are never huge because I don't do them regularly enough. So there's not enough people that come to my reviews regularly, which is something that I want to change this year, which is why I'm trying to push to do at least 1 or 2 reviews a week if I can, so that people keep coming for reviews on the channel and even maybe start watching my backlog of reviews. But over 3.7 thousand views, the whole video in 3 years has made me $9.44. Now don't worry, deals are way better, okay? And we're gonna leave. I'm gonna leave this, okay? But basically, what I'm trying to explain to you is that if I had to start paying someone to help me and get more reviews, like, how do I compensate a person fairly to do a review of a game when I know that review will maybe bring me in $10? The bigger games will bring me in like $30 over 3 years. Okay, over 3 years. But it's like it's like a circular thing. Some people I think do it just for clout, in the sense that I think switch up. Like, for example, they're big enough that some people will say, if you just give my channel a shout out, I'll write a review for you. Or I'm writing a review for my channel, I'll give you my write up and you guys can publish it on your channel as well. I'm pretty sure some people must do exchanges like that with them. But basically, that's where it's a little rough to get help at the beginning. And I'm saying the beginning. I'm no longer in the beginning. I'm in the mid of the channel, but that's where it's hard to get into something new in the channel. And reviews isn't even new on the channel, but it's not what I do the most of, and it's not what people know me for. oddly enough, my accessory reviews get a million times more views. Like, I have accessory reviews that are easily over 50,000 views on the channel. So people come to me for accessory reviews, but it's which is why I want to maybe do headset reviews, you understand? Because like it's working better on the channel, and it's going to help me have more time to do the game reviews if I can get like regular things flowing, because the more things flow on the channel, the more I can put time into it. But yeah. Anyway, the whole point was just to show you guys that like sometimes I'd like to get help and stuff, but there's no way it's me. I can do it in a meaningful way. And a review like that Dungeonoid review that gave me $10, it took me probably 5 or 6 hours to finish the game. Probably an hour to write up the review. Probably another 25 minutes to record it. And then probably another hour to edit it. So we're looking at like close to 10 hours of work for $10 over 3 years. If you look at the hourly wage, it's like I'm making $1 an hour for those things. And it's not all about the money. It's just like, I don't mind putting effort in and making very little money because I like what I'm doing here on the channel. But at one point, $1 an hour is a little bit, oh my God. But that's it. So that was the whole point of the whole blah, blah, blah. So if you ever do want to start reviewing games on YouTube, just know that you will be working for free for quite a long time. Or equivalent to free, because $1 an hour to me is not really like you're making, like it's pretty equivalent to free. Anyway. Well, we're chatting away, guys, but I actually have to get to editing the video. So I hope some of you actually did enjoy building the Lego Master Sword. If any of you missed it and want to take it, I honestly, and I know a lot of people have asked me like internships and things like that. Not like internships, but like have asked me to, if you can just give me the games, I'd review them. I would like to. I just want to like it's hard to do with a person that you don't know. Like it's easier when it's a person that has reviewed games in the past, because you can see how they review games and you can see if it syncs up with the way you review games. When it's someone that's never reviewed games in the past, it's hard because I don't know if the way you're going to review games are going to sync up with the way I like games and review games. And I don't want to alienate people on the channel either by reviewing a game and then they're being like, but Maple, man, this isn't the way you like. I don't get that you like this game. You never like games like this, and you're saying it's like good, or I don't know if you get what I'm talking about. So what's easier is when you get someone from another channel that you know their channel lines up with what you like as well, and what you know, with a generally quality control that you would have as well. It's easier to gauge. That's the hardest part. It's not finding someone that reviews games. It's finding someone that reviews them the way you feel comfortable reviewing them. So if you put your name on the review, because you're basically, if you write up a review for me, even if I say, hey, this is a review made by Champ, and I'm taking Champ just as an example. This is a review that's been written up by Champ Dancer. I'm turning it into a video. You know, here's what here's the review for blah, blah, blah game. You're nonetheless sort of associating your name with that review, and you're sort of endorsing it, saying that you agree with what's in the review. But exactly. Well, the eShop cards, to be honest, it's because eShop deals does a lot better. You know, I don't want to give exact numbers out like on everything. Like, you know, I don't mind showing a small example like that, but you know, there are certain things that just for, you know, confidentiality's sake, I don't want to give exact amounts on everything. But just so you know, like the eShop cards that I give out, it's easily like I'm giving back almost, maybe not anymore. It's getting a little lower, but for the longest time, it was like I was giving back 25% of what I was making every month. So I know it's weird, but it's like I'm really giving back. Like for the first years, like basically, because if you talk, each video I'm giving away $10. On average, I used to do 2 videos a week, so that was $20 a week. Let's just round. I know it's a month doesn't really have 4 weeks, but let's just, for argument's sake, say there's 4 weeks in a month. That's $80 a month, and like till the last like till about for the first 2.5 years, the best months in the channel were making like $300-400, and I was giving away 80 of that. So, but to me, it's like, number one, I wanted to create the community. It's an investment in making sure that people have a reason to come back to the videos more easily. And it's not like I want to pay people to come back, but it's like, I know how fun it is where you're coming back and at least you have a little chance to win something. And, sometimes I get a lot of comments like, I never win. I'm like, dude, like at this point, on average, I have like 200 to 300 comments a video, and I give away 1 gift card per video. So you have like 0.3% chance to win in each video. So even if you comment on every video I do in a year, it's still mathematically you're still like not supposed to have won a card, in the sense that like exactly, but yeah. So and then like, but I don't even respond to those comments, because I'm like, if you do the math, you'll just know that whatnot. But yeah. Anyway, that is what I was, it's just a funny thing. And like, I know there must be some people out there that come to the videos just for a chance to win the card, and they probably watch 30 seconds of video, drop a comment, and move on. I know that's out there, but I know that's not most people. And like I said, it's to foster a sense of community and whatnot that I really wanted to do it. So yeah. Which countercade? Theoretically, I wanted the Marvel superheroes, but who has it? Where? It was the 2-player Marvel superheroes. Like, if not, I would, like, theoretically, I would be looking maybe for if I can't get the Marvel superheroes, probably the second one in line would be the 2-player countercade for MK, Mortal Kombat, probably. Because I want at least 4 buttons so that they're compatible with enough games. Because I realized after that, the 2-player TMNT arcade is probably the least desired one. Not because of the games that are on it, but if you try to port other games to it, you only have 2 buttons. And 2 action buttons cannot play a lot of games. So, like, in order, it would be, like, Marvel superheroes that I would like to find, Mortal Kombat, and honestly, I probably wouldn't invest in any of the other 2-player countercades, just because I already have the Turtle version, and I realize now that since I'm going to be modding it, I don't want the same countercade twice, and I can probably just put Turtles on, like, I can... After modding it, I could put Turtles on like Marvel superheroes or on MK. Well, I read almost all the comments. I know it seems crazy, but I read almost all the comments. Okay. However, obviously I can't respond to... I've stopped responding to most comments just because I don't know if some people really vibed with me saying like, okay, awesome, great, you know what I mean? But like, if I had to actually write out a full response to everyone, that would be pure impossible. And at one point, I just felt like, oh my God, come on, some people must be, it's so cheesy. He's like, okay, great, good game, stuff like that. But by the way, I was really reading the comment and trying to fit the quick response with whichever was the proper comment. So if you're like, I picked up Ori this week, great game, you know what I mean? Or great video, thanks, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, it would still fit with the person because I would read the comment and then try to respond super rapidly. Oh yeah, I've got trolls. I have regularly trolls. That's why I say I read almost all the comments, because I do remove trolly or overly negative comments. Like, I have no. By the way, I never remove a comment for just someone saying like, "I didn't like your video." I'll leave it there. Who cares? Sure, but for anyone like being extra mean, extra trolly, or like, someone who's like. Says anything racist, says anything like overly sexist, like not just a like dad joke sexist, like, like women should be in the kitchen or some crap like that, like women have no business talking about games and should be in the kitchen or whatever, Um, sorry, I just want to see those two. Thanks for touching on your old videos too. It's interesting to me that a video earned an amount over the time of 3 months. Well, basically videos, as long as they're still getting views, keep earning money. Like, some of my best earners, like I said, have been, okay, the PDP level 40 headset. Like the cheapo headset for the Switch that you can find everywhere, is one of my top viewed videos. Okay. And this headset review on its own has made like hundreds of dollars. That video has made hundreds of dollars for a $25 headset that I bought and reviewed. So sometimes it's really odd. However, they often start out like garbage. Like, those are videos that in the first week, they'll have like 300 views. But over time, when the headsets go on sale at different stores, people start looking for reviews for them. And since there aren't a lot, they end up on your video. I bought a game from one of your deal vids for New Year's, but I bought it apparently once the deal ended during transaction. So it reloaded the page and told me, disclaimer, price of the game has changed. Wow, that sucks. So they charged me the sale price and said I owed $6. So I'm waiting for sale price again unless I buy it and say screw it. That's freaking funny, MKF. But yeah, so I do get trolls, but I generally end them. And, I've had like, I've had specifically that there was like at one point like another channel that was basically sending people to write mean comments on my videos, which was just the dumbest shit ever. So for like at one point for like 3 months, it was like my second job after posting a video was waiting for the troll comments to like sort of block them one by one. But like, that's a long time ago. Like, we're talking over a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it hasn't re-happened again. But that was just stupid. And honestly, like, I could have left the comments there too, but I like keeping a certain level of control over stuff. But not control, but I mean like I don't want people to come to one of my videos and see all troll comments. And then, because the more people see, the more they feel free to drop comments like that. And that's what creates like a toxic environment. However, like I said, open discussion I have no problem with. Anyone can say, your review, I disagree with it. Like, there's a way of saying it. If you say, hey, your review, I disagree with it. I think this game is great. You didn't like it, but I think you're being judgmental for this and this reason and blah, blah, blah. And then basically all of a sudden, um, but if you tell me like you are a R, R-tard, you don't know what the heck you're doing, uh, your mom should go kill herself, blah, 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 uh, like, then I'm going to block you. You understand what I mean? Like, you can say the same thing in two different ways. One is respectful and just voicing your opinion that you disagree. Never going to block that. The other one is like saying, attacking the person, not the argument. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And if you're a Maple Leafs fan, I block you without even a reason. Like basically, if you're a Maple Leafs fan, you just get auto blocked, no reason whatsoever. You have a naturally deep voice, and you get why are you using a fake voice changer? Yeah, well, I get a lot of comments about my lisps and my voice and my way of saying certain words. But like I said, that's something I'm used to in life because it's always been like that. So to me, like it rolls off of me and I don't really give a crap whatsoever. And I even lean into it often. Like I've leaned into it, often in the past because it's like that's the way I talk. If you don't like it, don't watch the videos. What you want me to say? I can't change the way I talk. I can't change my speech impediment. I know I have it. Um, and it's funny because recording the videos is a lot more difficult than talking to you guys. And I'm trying to mentally get over that block because I normally don't stutter that much anymore. But when I'm recording videos, I stutter a lot. Well, not a lot, like compared to someone who really still has an active stuttering problem. But when I'm talking naturally, I very rarely stutter anymore. When I'm recording for videos, I stutter on a regular basis. Like I have to do retakes because I'm stuttering. And it I know it's a mental blockage. Because if I'm talking to you guys, it doesn't happen. So it's not the nervousness about being in front of the camera. It's like some kind of nervous blockage where I'm like, I'm recording this video, it has to get done. And because I'm putting that pressure on myself, I start stuttering. But and it's weird, and I'm trying to get over it. And one of the ways I'm trying to get over it is I'm trying to imagine that I'm streaming when I'm recording my videos. It's starting to work, but it's like a deep learning process because it would save me so much time because recording the videos right now is taking a long time just because I have to do a lot of takes. And when I get stuck on like a phrase or a part of the video that I'm having trouble to say and I start stuttering, it gets worse and worse because the more nervous I get about not being able to say it, the more I start stuttering. But yeah. Well, I heard something really, really interesting and it made a ton of sense to me and I really took it to heart. Generally, people who are trolls always troll people who, I don't want to say they're jealous, but they have certain envious feelings about. You never troll or take the time to put down someone who isn't ahead of you. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone out there, but like basically, when you're at the top, you don't take time to troll anyone else because you're not bothering. Like basically, everyone who's trolling you are generally people who are behind you who, for some reason, feel that they should be ahead of you. Exactly. You make them feel insecure. So generally that was someone said that. And then I realized, you know what? You're right. If I look at the whole list of people who have trolled me in my life and on YouTube, especially, I've never had someone come from like a channel with 500,000 subscribers and be like, you're copying my videos. I'm like, but I started doing the videos before you started doing these videos, and your videos actually look like mine. You know what I mean? Like, like how could I copy something when I was doing it first? But okay, either way, the point being that we're not going to get into like that stuff. But what I was saying is that basically, it never comes from the bigger from someone who's ahead of you being more successful saying, "Hey," but it's always coming from people behind you that for some reason think they should be ahead. But they don't want, often they also don't want to put the work in to be ahead. So they're jealous because they don't want to put the work in, or they don't realize the work you put in to be where you are. How do you get over it? Honestly, the way I get over it is by accepting that it's part of yourself, working on bettering it as much as you can, because like the problem is like I don't have any proof, like I don't have any like recorded or stuff that I can show, but when I was younger it was a lot worse than it is now. Well, like I said, actively, if I'm in normal conversation, it doesn't happen anymore. Okay, it only happens like when I'm under a lot of stress, nervousness, or for some reason I'm recording a video, whatever. Okay, but so it's to me it was never about getting over it. It's number one, generally accepting that whatever you see as a flaw is a part of yourself. It's who you are. And number two, doing what you can to improve the parts of yourself that you don't like. And if you do those two things, to me, it's just going to come naturally that you're going to feel better about those things. And not necessarily putting limits on yourself based on what other people are perceiving as your limits. You know, because if I was younger, like my parents told me, like, you know, I'll give you an example. When I was a teen, I had a dream of being an actor. You know, my parents said, you can never be an actor. You like, no one's gonna wanna watch a movie with someone who can't deliver his lines, or you know, can't speak well. And my parents were super supportive on a lot of things. They just wanted me to put energy on school, not on becoming an actor or something like that. Okay, but if you look at realistically, Stallone, Arnold, all these people are people that theoretically would be considered to have very strong accents and not really, you know, be able to deliver very complex lines, but they made it their own. They lived with it. They took their weakness and they actually made it their iconic element. Like if Arnold didn't have the accent he had, I think he would have still been successful with the drive he had, but he probably wouldn't have been as successful because no one else sounds like Arnold. You're only 5'2". It takes a huge toll on me, so you've been trying to fight it all the way you have. And I get you, Nabil, because I'm not a tall man either. I'm 5'8", so I'm considered, you know, I know unfortunately I'm not comparing myself to you because like I know you're shorter, so I don't want. But what I mean is like I'm not a 6'5" guy. I'm not a 6 foot guy. I'm a 5'8" guy, and I think it's something that back in the day didn't exist as a concept, and it's gonna maybe like I've always naturally, like since I was 18. Okay, when I was younger, I was very skinny. I was like I was very good at school, and you know I would traditionally back in the day be what people called a nerd. And don't forget that in the 80s and 90s, gaming and stuff was not cool. Like today, gamers and anime fans have it better than they've ever had it before because these medias are becoming mainstream, and there's esports, and it's actually now there's YouTubers. It's actually becoming cool to be a gamer, an anime fan, and these things. But back then, it was not cool whatsoever. Okay. Like, if you watch 80s movies with people that like laugh at nerds that like Star Trek and stuff like that, that's movies exaggerate it, but it was like that in high school. Like, people did not, you know, but yeah, exactly. We were all a bunch of nerds back in the day. Okay. But basically, I was 5'7", 5'8", so not a tall guy. And I was skinny. I weighed 120 pounds till I was 15 or 16. All of a sudden, when I was 15 or 16, but I did martial arts since I was 12. And that started helping me getting a lot of confidence. And then when I was 16, I started lifting weights on top of doing martial arts. And over like a year and a half, I went from being 120 to being 165, 170 by lifting weights. Because when I was young, my metabolism was so quick that the only way I could gain weight was lifting weights, like building muscle. Like I could eat McDonald's all day and I wouldn't gain any weight. I wouldn't get any bigger. So basically I started lifting weights and the confidence came in a little better because all of a sudden people look at you differently. And I'm not saying that this is the solution for everyone, but I still was a short dude though. But I think a lot of it comes from the energy you give off. And owning yourself and owning who you are is super important. And all these things came together. And I think because I became extremely popular in college / CEGEP, like I started playing on the rugby team. I was on like I was playing all the sports. I was like for like about 5 or 6 years, I was still gaming on the side, but it wasn't like the main thing I was doing anymore and stuff like that. So I became like a popular dude for like 5 or 6 years. Because we have 2 steps before college. We have CEGEP and then college. So in CEGEP, like which will last like 3 years, and then university, which lasts 4 years, I became like popular dude. And honestly, it's all about the energy you give out. If you are confident in yourself, people are going to be confident in you. If you've ever done sales, it's the same idea. You're not selling your product, you're selling yourself. Okay? So when you're with people, if you feel confident in yourself, people are going to feel confident in you. And it's the concept that now people would say, BDE. You guys know what BDE is, right? That is why, and I'm not saying every physical flaw can be overcome with just pure confidence, but it's going to go a long way. And not feeling apologetic about the fact that you're short, or that maybe you don't like your hair color, or maybe you're losing your hair. Like I've started losing my hair over the last like 5 years. It's not about being apologetic. And like I wear a cap because I feel more comfortable than that with that. But I'll show it to, like, if someone asks, "Hey, are you losing your hair?" "Yeah, I am, dude. Who cares?" Well, me personally, yes. Like when my key with meeting women was I was confident. And I've been married now for 10 years, so let's just be honest. I've been married for 10 years, so it's not like I'm in that market anymore, but I was a very popular guy with ladies like during those 5 or 6 years of whatnot. And a lot of my friends would be like, "How does it work?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just say hi, how you doing? Sit down beside the girl, start talking to her like I know her." You know what I mean? Like, "Hey, what's up?" And I don't really, like, if she's not interested, I don't take it personally. I don't care. I don't make a fuss. Just like, "Okay, man, thanks for giving me the time. Have a great day. See you, see you tomorrow, whatever. Move on. Have a good time." So I do think that has a big part to do with it, because it's like anything. Have you ever like as a guy, have you ever liked a girl that maybe physically isn't the most beautiful girl you saw in the world, but she gives off an awesome energy? It's the same idea. Because she loves herself, she loves who she is. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I'm not going to pretend that every girl I've gone out with is a supermodel, even far from it. But I'm a person who I connect with a person's energy more than necessarily just what they look like or just who, what they say or whatnot. And to me, it's something I look for in others too. Exactly. I'm not going to say looks don't matter zero, because there are some guys that are blessed and have it easier. They can be douches and still easily find people, but for the most people are going to connect with energy. And like I said, I can name a very many times where I would gravitate towards a girl, during my dating years, not because she was the most beautiful girl in a group of girls or whatnot, but because she gave off like an awesome energy. You could tell that she liked who she was. And I find that those are the people that when you're around them too, they will bring you the most, because they're, you're not going to have to bring them up all the time. They can bring themselves up. And that's a complementary energy. Wow, we're getting deep here. Anyway, okay, I've said it. I have to go because or else we're not going to get the video for tomorrow. And then I'm going to be backed up, meaning I won't be able to record the next video. And then my whole week is over. No, I'm joking. It's not that dramatic, but I would like to edit the video that I filmed earlier today. By the way, you're not going to see my face. I only recorded my voice because I actually recorded it on my lunch break at work. First time I've ever done that. Found a quiet room, recorded it over my lunch break at work. It's a review. I think it's going to fit in well. It's going to be just voiceover, fully voiced over, but you're not going to see me. You're not going to see my beautiful face in the video. Either Thursday night, Frenchie Mom, or Saturday. But I will, Wednesday evening, check the messages on the channel. I'll make a post which one of it is. Okay? Because like I said, when I said it was going to be Saturday, my wife sort of made a sour face because I'm working Thursday night and I have I have a late work thing Friday, and then I would stream on Saturday. So she made like a face like, okay, so you're working late Thursday, you have your work party on Friday, and then you're going to stream on Saturday. So when are we supposed to do, so yeah. You understand what I mean? It's like, I was like, so it's pushing me towards streaming it on Thursday, even though I don't like streaming late when I just finish work, because I literally have to finish at 8 and start streaming at like 9. And it doesn't give me a lot of time to like reverse my energy and get like, yeah. New video series with the wife. Honestly, if I can get her into more general games, I would. It's just right now the only games she likes playing are like rhythm games and Mario Kart. So unless every stream would be rhythm games and Mario Kart, it's going to be a pretty limited series. But yeah. Anyway, hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Thanks for building the Zelda sword with me. Like I said, I'm gonna be re-editing that into a more concise video. For anyone who wants to maybe miss it but see it all like, in like a 15-minute format where you get like a speed build, comments before, after, and whatnot. But I have her playing like Overcooked and Moving Out and things like that she enjoys, but it really has to be games where I'm there with her telling her what to do. But yeah, anyway, hey, thank you so much for showing up. Like I said, hanging out, chatting. We got pretty deep tonight. Hopefully you guys like this. Honestly, I wish one day we can, like I've said it many times, that we can get a regular streaming schedule where we can even do like just chattings from time to time. It's fun. But anyway, have a great one, guys. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. No, I played Tools Up quickly. It's decent when it's on sale. If you want to pick it up when it's on sale, Tools Up can be a good pickup, but it's not as refined as Overcooked or Moving Out. But it's along the same lines. Have a great one, guys.